Hi team, Melissa from Melissa versus Fibromyalgia here, and I want to have a conversation with you about something that I haven't really discussed before. So I know that mindfulness for the chronic life includes chronic pain, fatigue, insomnia, anxiety, and overwhelm, but I've never really talked too much about the anxiety component of my journey. I have kind of said that mindfulness has really reduced my fight or flight response and that my anxiety has decreased, but I haven't really let you know what it was like before and what it's like now. So way back at the beginning of my journey, I would get pretty anxious, like full body physical anxious, and I wouldn't always know why. It seemed to happen when the pain and fatigue were worse, but I mean, I just had so many things going on and so many things bombarding my body that I had just no way of teasing it apart. So it was all just a big mess of things that were happening. But I just keep remembering little things as I'm working with a client with anxiety at the moment, and I'm thinking through obviously these things for my course, and I'm remembering little bits. So, for example, one way that I found that really helped me to calm down was this Mozart CD. Like I was at Real Groovy and was just drawn to this Mozart CD, so I purchased it and I would listen to it whenever I needed to calm down, and it actually helped me to calm down. And I never thought again of why that was or anything like that. Obviously, I haven't had to use that CD in many, many years since I found mindfulness and meditation, but it used to be just this real profound, like chest, tummy, shaky, whole body, I don't feel well kind of surface level anxiety. I don't quite know how else to explain it. And like I said, it seemed to come on with the pain and fatigue. And even as I started to get a little bit better, I would do this thing where I kind of quietly internally panicked. So when the pain and fatigue went up a level, I would forget all of my coping mechanisms and I'd just start to just panic inside. So you would never know what was happening, but I would just start to get really anxious and unsure, and how bad is it going to be, and is it ever going to stop, and all that sort of thing. But all of that has actually ceased. So now I don't get the kind of illogical, anxious reactions anymore. I know exactly what to do. I've been practicing things so much that it's all ingrained. So when I have a flare up, I know exactly what to do, and I go A, B, C, D, done. And I know exactly what to do, and I also know that it will end. And I also know that when I maintain my control, I will improve my quality of life. And also I think part of the mindfulness is knowing that even if it does stay this way for a little while, I will be okay and I will get through it. And I'm just going to accept myself right now as I am, which is difficult and takes a long time to practice. But even when I have genuine stresses, I'm able to calm down faster. So recently we had a car accident. Someone crashed into the back of me, and I had my tiny baby, my 3-month-old baby, in the car with me. And I was so worried about him, I didn't realize how hard we had been hit. And once I had dealt with my baby and given him to my brother who was in the car with me, I noticed that the entire tow bar was folded up. So that was the impact. And actually for a few days I was in quite a lot of pain with my neck, but that was obviously really anxiety provoking. And basically because I had to keep driving to my parents' house, I just focused on trying to breathe and make sure I was using my belly and not my chest, because I don't know if you've ever noticed, but if you have a big stressful event, it's very hard to actually belly breathe. You move to that shallow breathing, and it is not helpful at all in calming yourself down. So I was making sure that I was using that breath. And I put all my practices in place, and it was all over pretty fast compared to what it would have been before. So I'm pretty excited about that, because that has a feed-on effect to everything else. So your anxiety response can actually impact your pain and fatigue. So by helping to manage the anxiety, you can help manage the pain and fatigue if you also have these things. And so that's why it's part of the mindfulness course. Everything in the mindfulness course is designed to help you learn about the different ways that you can calm down and see what works for you, what resonates for you, and gives you little practices that you can practice right now, anytime, anywhere. There are some things that you need to sit down quietly and do, and there are some things you can do any place, like sitting on the bus. And the reason I created this course this way is because it's exactly what I needed back then, but didn't have. I mean, that's why I coach as well. That's why I created Fibro 101. That's why I've been writing my blog for all these years, is because everything is what would have really helped me cut down my journey and save me a long time of misery back then. So that's why it's there. But one thing about anxiety is that it is pervasive. And the thing about coaching is that you're always part of a team. So I have a client who I work with for anxiety, but I'm one part of their team. So they are the head of their team because they know that they need to take control of their quality of life, and they can, and they do, and they are. But they also have their GP. So when it's necessary, they have medicine they need to take, and their GP is all over that. And then they have a counselor who they see when they need to do that real talk therapy or looking into the past, that kind of thing. And then me as a coach, I help them with practical strategies that they can do right now and can look forward to use. And so that's kind of the ideal way of how the whole coaching thing works, and how it works with anxiety, because you do want to make sure you have all your bases covered. If you've got some big, deep-seated trauma sitting there, you need a counselor, not a coach. And perhaps the mindfulness can wait until you've done a little bit of work on that. But otherwise, just that anxiety that comes with the chronic pain and fatigue can really benefit from all of these things that I'm teaching in the course, from the breathing, from the mindfulness, from the meditation, from being aware, and all of those other calming practices we discuss. So it closes on Friday and opens on Saturday. So the course starts on Saturday. 31st of May is the cutoff from the special bonus session with me. So I am offering a free session for everybody who signs up by Friday, by the 31st of May. I'm in New Zealand, so my 31st may not be your 31st, so we'll talk about 31st of May as opposed to a day of the week. But you get a session with me to really help you work through whatever of the areas is most important to you in the course. So get in on that before then, because I would really love to help you supercharge that journey and help it take a much shorter time than it took for me. I'll leave the links below. Otherwise, have a look through my blog archives, have a look through my YouTube archives to find things of help. Let me know in the comments below. Have you found that anxiety is tied to your symptoms as well? And what have you found that have helped? I will catch you next time.